In the early 1990s, a subtle yet unnerving phenomenon began to ripple through the quiet landscape of New Mexico. It was a sound, a low-frequency hum, so persistent and mysterious it defied easy explanation. But here's the twist. Not everyone could hear it. For a select few, this phantom sound became a torment, triggering agonizing headaches and waves of nausea. Was this merely a localized quirk, a strange atmospheric anomaly? Or did it hint at something far more widespread, perhaps even a global conspiracy? Scientists descended, investigations were launched, but the source remained stubbornly elusive. The Taos Hum, as it became known, left behind a legacy of unanswered questions, a haunting reminder of the mysteries that can lie hidden, even in the most familiar of places. Imagine this: Stockholm Harbor, 1628. Sweden's pride, a brand new warship, the Vasa, a veritable floating fortress, was about to embark on its maiden voyage. A royal audience gathered, eager to witness the spectacle. But disaster struck with terrifying speed. As the ship sailed out, cannons were shifted, a fatal miscalculation. The Vasa, suddenly too top-heavy, met a sudden gust of wind. The mighty vessel heeled, and water rushed in, overwhelming her. Within minutes, the proud warship sank, a heartbreaking tragedy witnessed by all on shore. It would lie at the bottom for 333 years, a silent testament to hubris, before finally, remarkably, resurfacing to tell its story. In the unforgiving waters of the North Atlantic, a maritime tragedy unfolded that would forever etch itself into the annals of seafaring history. The SS Arctic, a vessel of immense pride and a marvel of its time, was no stranger to the ocean's fury. But on this fateful voyage, the sea's wrath would prove insurmountable. In a catastrophic collision, the pride of the Collins line met its grim end, a testament to the brutal power of nature. What makes this sinking so chilling are the accounts of survival, or rather, the lack thereof. While the captain and many of the crew bravely perished with their ship, a shocking number of women and children were also lost, a stark deviation from the maritime code of women and children first that would haunt the survivors and the public imagination for decades. The sinking of the SS Arctic served as a somber reminder of the ocean's dominion and the often brutal realities of sea travel, prompting significant debate and ultimately reforms in maritime safety regulations. And then, in a twist of fate that would reshape two continents, the Portuguese commander Pedro Álvares Cabral, on a mission to the Indies, found himself sailing far off course. Instead of the spice-laden shores of Asia, his fleet, a magnificent armada of 13 ships, stumbled upon a land unknown to Europeans. On April 22, 1500, the sails of the now Capitania spotted the verdant coastline of what would become Brazil. It was an accidental discovery, a geographical miscalculation of epic proportions that immediately sparked a colossal colonial enterprise. This unexpected landfall, initially perceived as a mere stepping stone, would ignite a centuries-long Portuguese presence, forever altering the cultural, linguistic, and economic landscape of South America. Imagine a world where whispers of a forbidden faith could lead to torment, even death. For centuries, the Roman Empire had been a crucible, its iron fist crushing those who dared to follow Christ. But in the early 4th century, something extraordinary happened. Emperor Constantine, on the eve of a pivotal battle, claimed a celestial vision, a sign that would alter the course of history. The ensuing victory at the Milvian Bridge, a triumph attributed to this divine intervention, paved the way for a radical shift. In the year 313 AD, alongside his co-emperor Licinius, Constantine declared religious toleration throughout the vast Roman Empire. This was not just a decree, it was a revolution. For the first time, freedom of worship was proclaimed for all faiths, and the brutal persecution of Christians came to a resounding end. Churches, once hidden, now rose in grandeur, their congregations swelling with newfound liberty. This act of unprecedented tolerance laid the very foundation for the future Byzantine Empire and forever changed the religious and cultural landscape of the world. The year is 1943. Occupied Warsaw. Within the suffocating walls of the Jewish ghetto, a desperate hope flickered amidst unimaginable horror. The Nazi regime had decreed its liquidation, a final, brutal solution. But, facing annihilation, the ghetto's inhabitants chose defiance. Against a vastly superior enemy, armed with little more than courage and improvised weapons, even a few stolen tanks, they rose up. For weeks, a fierce and uneven battle raged. The ghetto became a battlefield, a testament to the indomitable human spirit. Though the Nazis ultimately succeeded in burning the ghetto to the ground, the uprising sent a powerful message. It was a desperate, courageous roar against the tide of barbarity, a sacrifice that echoed through the darkest days of the war, a final, blazing act of defiance against oblivion. Imagine standing on the deck of a small wooden ship, the salty spray stinging your face, the vast, unknown ocean stretching before you. This was the reality for John Cabot in 1497. Driven by a burning desire to find a westward passage to Asia, a shortcut to the riches of the East, he set sail from Bristol, England. What he found, however, was something far more surprising. A land teeming with life, a place that would eventually be known as Newfoundland. He landed, planting the English flag, claiming this new territory for King Henry VII. Though he likely never knew the true extent of his discovery, Cabot's voyage was a pivotal moment, igniting a spark that would lead to centuries of exploration and colonization, forever changing the map of the world. In 1932, Australia faced a threat unlike any other. Not an invading army, but a feathered foe numbering in the tens of thousands. These were emus, vast flocks migrating inland after breeding season, and they were devastating farmlands, tearing down fences and consuming precious crops. The government, facing pressure from desperate farmers, declared war, not with tanks and planes, but with soldiers armed with machine guns. The scene was surreal. Soldiers hunting the largest birds on Earth, birds that were surprisingly fast, surprisingly resilient, and remarkably adept at evading gunfire. Despite unleashing thousands of rounds, the military's efforts were largely ineffectual, a humiliating defeat at the hands of the Australian avian. The Emu War became a peculiar footnote in history, a stark reminder that, sometimes, nature itself proves an indomitable opponent.